Hey, it's Mike with Riding in the Ozarks, and we've been working on my buddy's bike here. He's got a new paint job, new bars, and now we're going to check out the suspension. So he's got factory suspension on there. I am going to take it for a ride. I'm going to compare the factory suspension to the TCMT Remote Reservoir suspension that we're putting on this bike. That suspension's about $700. So we're going to tell you if we think it's worth it in the end. Let's stay tuned. We're going to do an install, then the review after I get a chance to ride it. But first, get this thing off the lift and let's go take it for a ride with the stock suspension so I can ride them back to back after putting the new suspension on. Now there's only two bolts on the suspension. We already popped it off. One up here, one down here right behind your axle. All right guys, these are remote reservoir suspension. So if you have a docking system, you use different spacers. That's what I'm gonna call them. They're kind of a threaded spacer that go into this bracket. So on the back side of this is this spacer. I'll show you what one looks like in a second, but they go right in here. So you'll take your bolts out for your 4-point docking system. Then you'll put this in, and then you'll use longer bolts that they give you to go all the way through this and back in. Now, when this comes back, make sure that you mount it correctly where this tilts up and the bracket's on the inside. This is what's going to hold that remote reservoir. All right, here's those spacers we were talking about. Now, if you have the 4-point docking system, you're going to use this shorter one here. If you don't, you're going to use the longer one. Again, these thread into the back of that bracket. As you can see here, we're putting some Loctite on there before we thread those in, just because we like to make sure that stuff on our Harley doesn't vibrate loose. All right, guys, a tip for helping you get all this stuff lined up is make sure you loosen this bolt up and that one back here, right there in the middle of the 4-point dock below it, because they hold this strut in tight. We need to actually loosen those a little bit so that we could get these lined up correctly and get them started. Once we got them kind of ran in, tighten these all back up. All right, guys, that is the right side. Here's how they look setting off the back of the bike. And here is the left side. So we were just talking about how you adjust these shocks. To check your sag, you would normally go like center of bolt to center of bolt. What we're looking for is the change in travel here. So these are about 12 1/4 right now. When he sets on it, we should go down to about 11 1/2 for a normal 3/4 inch of sag, which would be for a shock that has 2.14 inches of travel. These are 13s, they might have more travel, so we might go more sag once we get them set up and adjusted. $11 3/4, so that's only about a 1/2 inch of sag. Now to adjust this collar, there's a set screw. It's a 1/8 Allen. You'll want to make sure you have that loosened up really good, which I've already done. Once you adjust this collar down using the tool they provide, you'll then tighten this set screw back up. We used a set of calipers and we measured from here to 15 millimeters, which is what the chart recommends for his weight and cargo. And I'm just eyeballing this, but looks like we're between 12 3/4 and 13 inches. So we're just under 13 inches on the shock itself without any weight on it. Go ahead and sit down. And now we're at about 12 inches. So we took up about an inch, which would be 1/3 of 3 inches of travel. So that kind of matches up and looks about right. Now we're gonna go ahead and adjust the compression and the rebound. This is our rebound adjustment down here, and this is our compression. Now, rebound has 43 levels, compression has 26. There is a chart that gives you a recommended level to start at. So that's what we're gonna do. And we're gonna go ahead and adjust this per those instructions to 0, and then count the clicks off of that. So we're gonna get that set up, and then we're gonna take it for a test ride. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, we went ahead and got the bags on. I thought I'd show you what it looks like with the bags on. Yeah, everything clears fine. He's opened the lids and stuff. He's got speakers inside. But they look pretty good back there. He's kind of blacking this bike out, so these black look real good with what he's already done. We blacked out the rear turn signals and license plate frame, and he still wants to black out these engine parts and stuff. I rode the bike right after we put the suspension on, and then I rode it another 30 miles when it was not raining, put it through a little more paces on a curvy road. My buddy Nick, who owns the bike, has now put about 100 miles on it, and we both agreed the stock suspension sucks, and this is definitely better, but it's different also. So you need to understand that, like, this isn't like soft and cushy for going down the highway and soaking up every little bump. This is more stiff, and it is more performance oriented. Me and Nick have talked about it a lot since he put the suspension on in the last, well, week and a half. And he definitely feels like he's a lot more confident going into the corners at higher speeds and coming out of them at higher speeds than with the stock suspension. So if that's the kind of riding you're looking to do, that's the kind of maybe problem you're looking to solve, then this is a great affordable option. So if you're looking for highly adjustable suspension where you can adjust the compression, the rebound, all those kinds of things, then these are a great affordable option compared to something like the Öhlins or the Legends. Now, I can't say how it compares to them for ride quality. I've never got to try any of them out, but for price, these are $700. So they were worth the gamble, and he's really happy with them so far. All right, that's the install and the ride review. We're going to let you guys go. Y'all take it easy, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one.